All right, darling Harbour, here is the culmination of this, the Working Vessels Harbour Parade of 2002 for Australia Day, and making her way through a beautiful, majestic sight is the schooner Lita, one of the last custom designed and built schooners from the Romantic era, favoured by film stars such as Errol Flynn and Humphrey Bogart. Built in 1957 in the Great Lakes, Lita travelled the full length of the Mississippi River. She spent her days racing and cruising between Florida and Caribbean, and now in her golden years is in Sydney servicing the film and advertising industries. On board Lita, the Gondwana Voices, founded in 1997 by artistic director Lynn Williams, who is here tonight to conduct her choir, performing with the group Sirocco. Gondwana Voices 2002 is comprised of 79 children aged between 10 and 16 from across Australia. This is a unique group of talented young singers who come together on a project basis to rehearse, record and perform at the highest of standards, and with some of Australia's most renowned ensembles, including the Sydney Symphony and the Australian Chamber Orchestra. Australia's national children's choir, Gondwana Voices, from across Australia, performing tonight with Sirocco, conducted by Lynn Williams. Following behind the Lita, the HMAV Bounty. Belying its ancient appearance, it was actually built in 1979 for the movie The Bounty, starring Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. She's called Sydney home since 1991. She's 40.5 metres, carries 7 kilometres of rigging and 1,000 square metres of sail. She does day sailing on Sydney Harbour as well as film shoots offshore, and has a permanent crew of 5 and a casual crew of 22. She's a cat-rigged bark and the only privately one owned in the world. As the Lita makes its way through the bottom of Cockle Bay and HMAV Bounty approaches toward the IMAC, coming down now, the beautiful slim, sleek lines of South Passage. Designed with a shallow draft of 2.2 metres, she was launched in '93 on September the 23rd and operates as far north as Cairns during winter and south to Sydney during the summer. And now, having passed through Pyrmont Bridge, our Svanen, built in Denmark in Fredriksen in 1922, made of Danish oak frames. She's 40 metres overall, her mast height 23 metres, and she has an 8.5 metre beam. She's a 3-mast barkentine, fully rigged square on the foremast and gaff rigged on the main and mizzen mast. 14 sails, over 114 square metres. She was a grain carrier between Denmark and Greenland for the Tuborg Beer Company until 1969 around the North Sea. She's built to take the massive seas and is a beautiful vessel. Ausvennen is also used to train sea cadets and came to Australia in 1988 with the tall ships for the bicentenary and was then purchased. She does charters on the harbour and the New South Wales coasts. Now coming through, Windward Bound. It's a purpose-built sail training vessel with a successful track record in running sail training programs for young people and young people from very diverse walks of life and financial circumstances. The Windward Bound sails out of Sydney on March the 7th, setting out on a journey of rediscovery, seeking out and comparing the wildlife and plant life as well as the changes wrought to this continent since 1802. They'll report on the thousands of volunteers who protect our vast and magnificent country and its peoples and industries working in harmony with the country's marine environment. The Windward Bound. And finally, one of the winners of the Best Dressed competition, making a reprise appearance in Cockle Bay, Darling Harbour, from the Ocean Youth Club of Australia, Sir Thomas Sopwith. She's operated by the Ocean Youth Club of Australia, whose role is to foster character development through sea voyages and sail training, especially for disadvantaged young people. Donated by the Sir Thomas Sopwith family to the Ocean Youth Club in Great Britain, she was built in '72 in a disused wartime shipyard as part of an unemployment youth training program. Sir Thomas Sopwith himself was the inventor of the World War I fighters, the Sopwith Camel and the Sopwith Pup. He was also a keen ocean yachtsman. Sir Thomas Sopwith bringing up the last in the Tall Ships Parade. The Bounty making its way out through Cockle Bay. The tall ships you see in front of you. Starting off with the Lita. The Lita berthed to the side of the barge there with the Gondwana Voices. 70 diverse voices from across Australia, a choir conducted by Lynn Williams performing with Sirocco. The Bounty makes its way back to Pyrmont Bridge, followed by South Passage, then followed by Ausvennen, Windward Bound and Sir Thomas Sopwith, recalling the majesty when great boats like this made Sydney Harbour their home. Give a big round of applause for Sirocco and the Gondwana Voices as they play on board the Lita. The HMAV Bounty, having had its boards trodden on by Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins, heads back out into Sydney Harbour. South Passage, a regal but relatively new vessel, having been launched in '93, follows close behind. Making its way round now, Ausvennen, as it clears the half of Cockle Bay and heads towards Pyrmont Bridge, giving all the people in the harbour side area of Darling Harbour a view of her majestic masts, finery appointed across it, green signals decked above. Rounding down the bottom in actually what is quite a difficult manoeuvre for the captains of all these vessels. It's not easy to bring a tall ship into this small area and turn it. Much experience and skill. Behind us, Vannon, Windward Bound, the purpose-built sail training vessel. She's built entirely of recycled material and equipment and entirely by volunteers. The project of Windward Bound was awarded the Queen's Trust Award, the Prince of Wales Award and the National Australia Bank Community Link Award. She's managed to put about 12,000 nautical miles under her keel since she was commissioned in 1998. And as I mentioned before, she is going to embark on one of its greatest adventures yet, the recreation of the most famous voyage of the coastline of Australia, that of Matthew Flinders in the Investigator and his circumnavigation of the great continent in 1802. And yes, there's a cat on board there, just as Matthew Flinders had twists as well. Windward Bound, heading towards Piermont Bridge. Vannon makes the leg past the South Staine as it exits Cockle Bay. Of course, Windward Bound shortly behind her. And just rounding the bottom of Cockle Bay now, Sir Thomas Sopwith, as part of the Ocean Youth Club of Australia, helping disadvantaged young people through sea voyages and adventure, training them in sailcraft. Sir Thomas Sopwith took out one of the Best Dressed Awards after participating in today's festivities on Sydney Harbour. All these vessels providing a perfect curtain raiser to the fantastic firework and light spectacular that will grace Darling Harbour very shortly as the sun sets over Sydney, accompanied by the voices of the Gondwana Choir. Everybody in Darling Harbour, Cockle Bay, give a warm round of applause as the tall ships make their exit. The last three. And as the ships make their way back out into Sydney Harbour, which is, of course, a working port, and that's what tonight is about, to show the people that ply the waters on a daily basis, making sure the harbour's beautiful, safe, and enjoyable. Let's hear one more song from Gondwana Voices, performing with Sirocco and conducted by their artistic director, Lynn Williams. Have a great Australia Day. Enjoy the fireworks for this 2002. Put your hands together for the Gondwana Voices, performing with Sirocco, conducted by Lynn Williams. Come on, darling Harbour.